Hi, my name is Kedar Halady. I'm a graphic designer at SENECA at York. So I'm here today to talk a bit about graphic designing, which is really vast, but I'm going to classify it into 6 different main heads. Well, the first one would be designing, typography, printing, hand drawing, history, and video. Designing is so I'm going to talk a bit about everything. So designing is about expressing yourself, expressing art in a digital format on your computer, which is basically posters, banners, flyers, and stuff like that. And I'm going to go next to typography. Typography, well, I know it seems not too important, but it does play an important role because typography is quite an effective thing in graphic designing because, well, it depends on your art. When you put typography in art, it expresses what you're designing. It can be something rigid, something elegant, something vibrant, something extremely violent too. You have different types of fonts and phases of it. So next I'm going to go into printing. Printing is basically whatever you express in the computer that is going to get printed onto your sheets or the quality of sheet that you're working on. So printing is basically for presentation, and you do need it to be extremely good because, well, it's all in the presentation. That's what graphic designing is about. Next, I'm going to go into hand drawing. Now, let me tell you, hand drawing, it doesn't play that great of an importance in graphic designing, but it's quite an asset if you have it because it helps you think really creatively. Once you can have something in your brain, it's right there on the sheet, and then you're going to just import it into the computer manually. Next, we're going to go through history. I'm going to talk a bit about history because history plays an important role. Every graphic designer must be in touch with his roots as a graphic designer because the past is what we are right now, starting from Michelangelo to Da Vinci to Gutenberg, and now the latest Steve Jobs. I know he's not a graphic designer, but every designer has an innovative brain just like Steve Jobs. I'm going to go into the next aspect, that will be videos, and I say videos are an important role because you see them on a daily basis. It does fall into graphic designing because it plays an important part of creativity and expressing yourself through motion on TV. So this is a brochure, more like a template done for one of the designing projects that I had for Black Creek Pioneer Village, which is in Canada. And this is a small brochure where I worked on, so I'm going to flip it right now. And you're going to see as soon as you open, it's the map, it's their logo, and then you can find yourself and guide yourself everywhere. Flip it the other way and you're going to see the complete index of everything that you need to find in Black Creek Pioneer Village, including their timings, their cost, their rates, and including their working hours, and a couple of pictures which I clicked myself. Yes, being a graphic designer is also about photography, so that's fun. So this is a book cover called The Scarlet Letter. It was designed by I don't know who, but it was a really old-fashioned designing. If you actually look, there is no graphic designing whatsoever done on it. It's basic typography, spacing, using negative spacing all over the page. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to flip that foam board and I'm going to show you exactly what I did, which would be the now recent one, and this is what I worked on. It's called The Scarlet Letter. Again, it's the same thing. I just again, like I said earlier, it's not called stealing or plagiarism. It's basically taking something from the past and improvising it. So this is The Scarlet Letter. All I've used here is typography. It's very simple. It sends the message out. If you actually see through the lettering, it shows old Gothic formats, so it symbolizes the time period that was actually taken place in. If you actually look at the art, it's simple. I also took a lot of time in presentation, so if you actually look, it is on a foam board with tape put around it. So as I said earlier, presentation is extremely important. Take time in picking the right choice of mode to paste your artwork on. This is another form of graphic designing. It's called package designing. So basically, if you see what over here, it's for this work was done when I was in India for one of the animal companies, which they wanted a syrup for these dogs. So this is just a package design that I had done. If you actually see, I've printed it on an extreme glossy paper, thick quality, and it has a nice finish and touch to it. It feels more like a photograph for the clients to approve your design. which was actually a surprise because it was approved. And yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to packaging. So now I'm just going to talk a bit about your opportunities as a graphic designer, because, well, everyone's all about the money, and it is. So, well, let's see. You have great opportunities if you're a graphic designer, because you get to be in advertising, you get to be in a editorial business such as newspapers and magazine. You get to make book covers. If you're a freelancer, well, hell, everything's yours, and you're making a lot of profit on it. So suggest most of you people to start your own business because it's really good. And I'm going to talk a bit about myself. My name is Kedar, as you all know that, and I'm designing for SENECA at York. I'm also a student there. I'm their lead mentor and their graphic designer. I have 2 years experience. I used to work in India before I came to Canada. I was there for about 6 months, and then after that, for about 1.5 years, I worked in Bahrain as a graphic designer for several companies. Well, one of the main things that I learned about graphic designing is it's not all about being a graphic designer. No, you want to be the one-stop man, and I'm going to elaborate more on the one-stop man. One-stop man is basically your client or the people coming to you for designing are not going to come to you only for designing. They would want you to be a person who knows everything. And when I say everything, I literally mean everything. You have to know designing, you have to know printing, you have to know how to get it out and present it to your clients. So these 3 factors are extremely important. The fact of knowing everything was when I was working in Bahrain. I not only worked as a graphic designer, I was a junior graphic designer. Then I was a printing artist, which would literally mean I was cutting paper for a living. And yes, it is very important, because printing is vast, and then you need to trim everything that you do for presentation, and if it is not perfect, your clients are not going to like it.